Hey all, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I want to welcome you. My name is Eileen. I am the owner of Veer Up, which is an HR career consulting firm. I love helping other people find their true calling. Either it's a new job or finding a new career path. I am the person who can help you do that. I offer coaching through one-on-one coaching packages. I do resume makeovers, and I also help you with your LinkedIn. So if you're someone that's in their career and you need a change or you're trying to find a new job, definitely check out my website. And I also have some free tools. But today, what we're going to talk about is quiet quitting. It is everywhere on social media. A lot of people are saying it's a great thing. I want to talk about why it is not a good thing and look at ways to try to improve your working environment. So before we get started, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. So like I said, we're going to talk about quiet quitting. And let's talk about what quiet quitting is. So basically what it is that employees are getting fed up with overwork. So what they're doing is they are no longer working late, coming in early, or helping on projects. They're not doing anything over and beyond what is asked of them. So they're just going by what's in their job description. I think that's horrible. Let me tell you why. It's because we're teaching a generation that just do the bare minimum and you'll be okay. That is not going to get you what it is that you really want, which is a career. So if you look at some of my videos that I did about the Great Resignation, what has happened after the pandemic, where a lot of people were leaving their job. But then I also did a video to kind of look at what is happening to the employees that are being left behind. And so those employees are overworked. And the result of being overworked is some of them are quiet quitting. And I think it's the worst advice to give someone to do that. What this really is about is job burnout. There's some things that I feel like if you do this quiet quitting, your brand will never be the same. You're not going to be known as someone who is passionate about their job or who goes beyond their call of duty. I know that we're living in different times and people no longer stay at jobs of 15 or 20 years, but we are not teaching our young people or really anyone that commitment and loyalty as well as doing 150% job will get rewarded, and I believe that it will. But the first thing is to kind of evaluate what is going on with the quiet quitting. So like I said, it is really job burnout. And so I came up with something that we can do to combat worker burnout. So here's the first one. So the first thing you want to do is take a true inventory of your feelings. So what do I mean by that? I mean to really figure out what's bothering you. Is it something at work or maybe something outside of work? But to really sit down and figure out why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. So to give you an example, if you're at work and it's like 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock and you just have this anxiety, where is it coming from? Is it because you have a report that's due that you don't have all the information that you need? So are you scared that you may lose your job? Are you resentful because you feel like you are doing all the work and other team members are not pulling their weight? This is the time to really sit down and figure out why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. And I would say every day, think about it. So I had a supervisor that wanted to have meetings like almost every other day. And those meetings would start at 3:30. For me, every time I would get an invite, I would get a migraine because these meetings were so intense. And I'm the kind of person, I prefer meetings first thing in the morning. I'm shutting down after 2:30. So to go to a meeting at 3:30 was simply eventually it was draining my energy. It was sucking the life out of me at every single meeting that I attended. So eventually I had to let my supervisor know I just couldn't have these 3:30 meetings every single week. So she ended up changing that. So that's something that came from me really trying to figure out why I just wasn't productive in these meetings, because I don't do well at in the afternoon meetings. So that's a good example of taking an inventory of your feelings and trying to figure out why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, and then to come up with some solutions for those feelings. And number two, you definitely want to think about your boundaries at work. This is so important. Like, you need to make sure that you have a balance. You don't need to be at work 24/7. And I get it. We're talking about just doing the basic, but it is okay to extend yourself to help other people. However, you don't want to be someone that always says yes and you're not being honest of what your workload is, or you're not being honest of what you can and can't do. Because I can remember a time where I had an employee that who constantly promised. She over promised. And her boundaries, she had none. She just wanted to be everybody's go to person, but she was overwhelmed. So that's one way you can look at boundaries. And I can remember that I worked somewhere and I had a supervisor also that would send me emails like at 2 o'clock in the morning. So she said she didn't expect me to answer those emails at 2 o'clock in the morning, but I still felt really funny about her sending them, because for me, I always would end up looking at them. So I told her, in fact, I even showed her how to send an email where it would be time sensitive. So if you send it at 2, it wouldn't get to me though until like 8 o'clock the next day. So you can put timers on your email when they can go out. That is one way of setting boundaries in your workplace. And number three, you definitely want to have interests outside of work. You cannot be someone that's all work and no play. That is not a fun, passionate life. Even if you don't have any hobbies, I suggest you find some. Is it golfing or is it art? You can find something that you love. If it's not an activity, then maybe it's like being a foodie person, going to new restaurants, or hanging out with your family members or friends. Even just something that will bring you happiness outside of work. If you love to travel, take short trips on the weekend. You have something to look forward to on Friday. And then on Monday, typically you'll be refreshed and coming back to work. So definitely find an interest outside of work. And number four, cultivating relationships at work. Now, I know on my YouTube I have a video about how your coworkers are not your friends, and I still believe that, but I do believe that it's important to have relationships at work. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be your best friend or you tell them all your personal business. No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is develop like cordial friendships at work. They should be professional friendships at work. Someone that you can have coffee with, or maybe even go out to lunch. Always want to keep it professional, but what this is going to do is you're going to kind of get like an ally for you. So I know someone that had a coworker. She had an emergency situation and she could not be at this meeting, but one of her coworkers, who she became worker friends with, knew the presentation. So she was able to have a backup, and that coworker kind of came through for her with flying colors. So those are type of things that having a coworker will really help you, and it also give you that sense of community. Because I never use the word family, because I don't think your coworkers are like family. I don't like that, because if you get fired or you have to terminate someone, is that still your family? But if we're talking about a community, that works better, because community is something that works together, and if you're no longer happy, you are still able to change up your staffing. So that's something you definitely want to think about when it comes to job burnout. And then next, you definitely want to keep work at work. I know that sounds really weird when we're talking about in a remote environment because a lot of us are still working either hybrid or remote. So you at home are working all the time, but you definitely want to set a time frame. So like if you're supposed to be at work at 7:30 or 7 and you work till 4, it's okay to put in another hour or something like that, but definitely separate work from home. So I know people who work from home and they get up like at 6 o'clock in the morning and start working and then don't leave till like 11 or 12 o'clock. All that's going to do is get you to job burnout really quickly. So you definitely want to make sure that work is work and then you have a home life, separate the two. So the next thing is to look for a quick win. And what do I mean by that? Looking for little things at work that brings you joy. If you are someone that has a hard time keeping your office or your desk space clean, make it a commitment to clean out your drawer at least once a week or rearrange your office to make it look like something that you really love or decorate it for the holiday. But little things to bring you some type of joy at work, those are the things that will give you a little bit of win. You know what I'm saying? Or work on a project with a coworker and get it done early. Just little things, not big changes, but things that will definitely help you to work more effectively. Having a clean desk will do that, cleaning out your drawer would do that, or just giving you, like I said, an environment of joy, such as celebrating a holiday. And then also, you want to share your concerns with your manager. This is really, really huge. The thing about job burnout is that your manager may or may not know, but they can't do anything if you don't even have a conversation with them. So, like I said, when you talked about your feelings, to really write down the things that you are noticing and even come up with some suggestions for your supervisor. They may not have any, but if you can say, this is what's bothering me and I have too much on my plate. He may even say, what, hey, let's hire a temp worker or let's split your job up with someone else or something that, at least they are aware. And again, if they don't want to do anything, then even with quiet quitting, I would suggest looking for another job discreetly. If you can't get any relief in anything that you've done that we talked about today, then that is the time to look for a job. But don't do quiet quitting because you become resentful and you don't want to work at a place where you just don't feel any type of passion. And then next, you definitely want to take time for your physical and mental health. This is really important. So for me, I take an hour lunch and typically I spend 20 minutes walking and then the rest of it like eating my lunch or taking care of personal things. But you definitely want to make sure that you are getting some type of physical activity in every single day. This is really important. And then the mental health, typically if you work at an employer, they will have something called employer assistance program, which is counseling, and typically you don't have to pay for it, and it's for you and anyone in your household. I would say if you can't find any relief in the things that we talked about, definitely get some mental counseling and physical activity. So you definitely want to practice mindfulness. We spend so much time at work making sure that everything's done, everything is checked off. We kind of put ourselves on the bottom. So it's important to check in with yourself. Like if you're having a really, really hectic day, check in with yourself and ask yourself, how am I feeling? How am I doing? What is it that I need right at this moment? Or what is it that I need in the next couple of days? Maybe it includes taking a day off. Or maybe it includes taking just a mental health day off work. These are things that you have to make sure that you are doing, looking at where you are mentally and physically. The bottom line is that you cannot push through burnout. It is not going to ever get better unless you make a conscious effort and decision to make it better. Either to get another job, or to find ways to make your current job better, but don't just accept it and then do quiet quitting, because in the long run, it will affect your career if you're someone that doesn't give 100% of themselves at work. So let me know what you think. I would love to hear your experiences. And if I left something out, let me know. So please, please, I would love to hear from you. Put in the comment and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, I will see you later. Bye.